It's Open House Thursday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Veronica Dan Ikboy. As usual, I have my co-hosts here. Ladies, good morning.
Good morning, fine girl.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, looking bright and beautiful this morning.
All things bright and beautiful. All things great and small. All things bright and wonderful. The Lord God made them all.
You will know that I'm old school.
Oh, you don't know this one. I almost chewed my tongue.
Give us your version.
Our one tune was all things bright and beautiful, all creatures great and small.
Interesting.
All things wise and wonderful, the Lord God made them all.
These people are really
That is why
These people are really
Okay, how are you doing?
I'm fine, I'm fine. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
You know, when I get here, I always forget the gist I had. I always have gist, but by the time I get here, the gist flies out of my head.
You should be writing the gist now.
Thank you, I will be doing that. I will be doing that.
Okay, so we'll come back to you. Maybe when Nima begins, you remember. Because Nima came in angry this morning and she said there's so much going on. And
No. I'm very impressed with the developments in Lagos State. Traffic has been easy. I know a lot of diversions and I just take them and I'm just out of it. I'm getting all the roads are now coming to, it's like puzzles they're getting together on my own path home and back. So I must always commend the governor. I see a lot of things happening, and I see the delay in rectifying small damages that will now become a big deal later. That worries me. Now on Second Rainbow, on the express coming towards Oshodi, there's a major flood issue happening there. Of course, that drainage has to have been blocked. You leave it for too long, cars pass over it, you have bitumen wash off, then you have potholes just like the one at the La Casera bus stop, and then we start to have traffic again. So, but they are working. They're really trying. I was going yesterday. I was like, I should do an Instagram post about the roads and say, thank you, Mr. Governor.
Right.
We'll do when they complete my roads.
Okay. Wait till then. All day.
All right, I'm missing my kids. They've started examinations already, so holiday will be in a bit. But I'm looking forward to them coming home and spending a long time in the house. And I've set goals for them. My son will always say, Mommy, you're stressing me. It's not my fault that you're a life coach. Please, teach other people, leave me alone. I've set, because I realized that, for instance, the last holiday, they were constantly on Snapchat, taking pictures, dancing, and all of that. So now I said, this holiday, we are not going to have it because it's going to be a very long holiday. You are going to really do proper work. And I've written down all the things I want them to achieve this holiday. It's not my fault that I am a life coach. At least I have to live by example.
Yes.
Yes.
Charity begins at home.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For me, I read something yesterday. I don't know if we all saw it, talking about the National Identity Management Commission saying that they need 25 billion naira for storage, more storage of the data they are collecting with regards to the NIN registration.
The clouds or where?
That's what
they can't be storing on clouds. So
where would they now store it? That you need 25 billion naira for.
That's a serious issue of national security. You can't just have our data stored on cloud.
If you put our data on the cloud, then people who can
access it.
Other countries, not outside hacking, clouds are run by companies based outside the country. It goes to our own national security if we cannot create our own cloud. That's what I'm tired of this. Everything resorting somewhere else. By now, we should have our tech, and we have them.
We have them.
The best of robotics engineers in the world, and Nigerians,
their
youngest.
contribution to the GDP is something that is being seriously recognized.
We should start to put our money where our mouth is, because we now depend on where our mouth is now. Because na belle worry with the thing.
All these apps that we use on our phones, the bank apps, and they are created by Nigerians.
Yes.
So the Nigerians are very techy. So they should
have them put together.
So, but a lot of people are just reacting. 25 billion for that amount.
I remembered one of the gists.
Okay, quickly,
I was
because we
listening
need to
my father's music yesterday, and there's one song that he has, Parambulator, and he says, you will just be turning around in one place. That he's talking about the government. No, he was talking about the government, and they will turn around in one place. They will go left, go right. When you look at the man well, at the same place today. You never go anywhere. You never move.
Okay. You leave it at that.
I will leave it at that.
Okay, let's leave it like that. We'll take a break now. When we return, we'll be looking at the papers. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
All right, thank you for staying with us. Let's look at the papers now, and we'll begin with The Nation. Major headline here says, insecurity, ACF, that's the Arewa Consultative Forum, Afenifere, Ohaneze, others join forces. Arewa plans ethnic leaders dialogue on state of the nation. Another headline here says, enough of comments emboldening bandits. Army warns Gumi. Cleric recommends hiring of bandits as guards. Well, AMCON takes over Senator Buhari's houses for 600 million naira loan default. Then Lawan, no cash for National Assembly renovation, 9 billion naira not released. Osun 2022 PDP ticket bid tears Adeleke Ogumbi apart. Buhari not behind NBC Press Council Acts review 7 months after Why I Have No Exco by Obaseki.
So
all right.
I have
the major headline?
No,
which one?
I have the Edo story.
Okay, go ahead.
It's of concern. So 7 months after the elections were done, concluded, there are no ESCOs to run the ministries under the Governor Obaseki's administration, second term, not first term. And his excuse is that he's asked the wards and councils to do their nominations to help him, select these commissioners and ESCO members, and that the delay was because also he was trying to rejig the civil service to make sure that there are proper structures within the civil service before he brings in the political heads to come and, show the direction the ministries will go. And I'm just wondering, we have a lot of things stalling, and there's a picture trending of the governor's car being stuck in mud. We have a lot of things not working as they should, and we can't keep having people play politics and make excuses. The the House of Assembly of Edo State is separate from your government.
Right.
They are representatives of their people. Stop playing this politics, because history will tell your story. There's also the issue of these ESCO members now. They're supposed to aid your work and also leave a trail of accountability. But for these 7 months now, we can simply say that the governor has been in charge and so, signatory to everything happening in the state. So, will they watch her?
All right.
The major story.
Okay. Please, before she leaves.
No,
okay. Means
the major story. So we know that leaders of major ethnic associations are, finding ways to solve the issues of insecurity. Now, Ohaneze Ndigbo, Afenifere, and the Pan-Niger Delta Forum yesterday accepted the invitation of Arewa Consultative Forum to meet on a way out of insecurity and the threat of secession. So Arewa Consultative Forum had a NEC meeting yesterday, and as a result of that, decided to send invitation to these other socio-ethnic and economic groups. And to discuss issues that pit ethnic and regional biases against the people. And they also said that they were happy with the stance of the Southeast governors concerning IPOB and secession. They have said that they are not in support of secession, and they are going to find ways to, listen to everybody and make their plans known. Afenifere, however, said they have not received their own invitation, but that they would attend because everybody is working together for one Nigeria.
It's good we see this kind of conversations coming up at this time, because we need to understand the issues and know how we can work better together. YK.
Do you want to take the Shegumi story?
No,
here?
you can go ahead.
Oh,
go ahead.
Okay. I read it in Sun, but I can take it anyway. Shegumi is alleging that some security officers, some Nigerian military officers, are involved with the bandits, giving the bandits arms. He says that the bandits cannot come get their arms across the border without the aid of security people. So they are involved. And then the army says, come, please stop trying to... we are not involved, but we are still going to investigate, because this is illegal if anybody is involved. But that Shegumi should stop making all these
statements,
allegations
I think his statements are, of course, emboldening the...
Yeah, what he is saying here again, that's the army now, saying that he should stop emboldening the bandits because he's been asking the government or insisting that government should negotiate with this bandit and that it is unfair comparing the bandits...
But to suggest that we make them guards.
Those calling for cessation in the south, and that those ones are actually killing security personnel, but these ones are only kidnapping children for money. That's what he said.
He says they're only kidnapping children for money. They're not killing like those other ones.
What about the children that they kill? Sometimes we hear that students are killed. But the point for me is we've heard from different areas that likely the military is compromised.
We know.
I don't know.
No, we know. We know.
We've heard that.
Yes.
So now he's coming back to say the same things again. I do not even expect the military to be defending this. They should start proper investigation if they are serious
and all of that.
But let's say
his words were this exactly. He says, so how can you compare someone who is killing our gallant men directly to somebody who is kidnapping children to make money and not kill them? I don't understand where he's coming from.
The DSS should have Shegumi, whatever his suggestions he has, give them privately. This public utterances is emboldening.
To the next paper now, The Punch. The major headline here is saying, endless borrowing, experts worry. Okonjo-Iweala, Ahmed differ on Nigeria's debts. We'll borrow more to build infrastructure, federal government insists. Nigeria's debt to GDP ratio rose by 29% to 35%, WTO boss. Now, the next story here is one dead, vehicles vandalized as robbers attack motorists on Long Bridge. Baby born in prison, special boy says on his wife at christening of released hashtag NSAS protesters' son. 2 arrested for supplying herbal drink that killed 10 Kwara family members. A really sad story there. And then, could be alleging collision as 200 killed in Zamfara despite Buhari's no-fly zone. Ex-FIRS officials rearranged over 4 billion naira for tours not performed. Who has the major headline here?
So I have the major headline. Okay. The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, and the Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Okonjo-Iweala, on Wednesday differed on the opinion of our national debts profile. So according to the Minister of Finance, he said that we are just about 29%, and the DG of WTO also says that it's not 29% anymore. We have risen to 35%. But the Minister of Finance has gone ahead to say that Nigeria even plans to borrow more money to fund our infrastructure, and in terms of our debt level, we're still very healthy and sustainable. But though they are finding ways to, generate revenue to be able to fund these debts, we are trying to cut our costs as it is so that we can fund our debt. But we really need to keep borrowing because
are we genuinely trying to cut our costs? Because this is the conversation that a lot of persons and experts have been having, saying let's cut down on the cost of governance. A lot of things are going on that we should look into that. But people have refused to have that genuine conversation to addressing these issues because we keep borrowing and borrowing. It has risen from 29% to 35%.
Which our Minister for Finance is not aware of.
Still saying we're healthy.
We are healthy.
She's not even aware of. She's saying it's 29%.
So who has the other story here?
The one about the robbers. Is robbers one on the Long Bridge.
Yes.
That's not Lagos State, it's Ogun State. Yeah. The robbers came about 9:30 p.m. There was serious traffic on the road. The robbers came. One of the victims says she was in the car. Her husband told her, get your things. If these people come near here, as they were approaching their car, people were running. They jumped out of the car and ran. When they got back to their car, the robbers had broken into their car, stolen her bag, stolen her husband's laptop. Another one said he saw them, they got to his car, and they started to, when he didn't give them, they smashed his window, but he managed to maneuver. So they didn't steal anything from him, but they destroyed his car. There was a picture of his, I believe what was his car. So once they finished robbing, they now jumped over the bridge to the ground. They came, with machetes, and the police are saying, no, it's because we were not there that day. Normally we are there. I'm not really understanding the police's position, you know. But they really need, especially these areas where there is always traffic. Let police be there.
But there's usually always traffic.
Okay. You know, we need to quickly go on a short break. When we return, we'll continue this conversation. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thank you for staying with us. We are still looking at the papers, and now we move to the Vanguard. Banditry, army kicks as Gumi alleges collusion by security agents. We have a picture story here, NYSC medical outreach. Now, no hand in anti-media bills. Presidency is reacting there. Osho residents flee as soldiers battle police to free detained colleague. National Assembly not responsible for maintenance renovation of complex. Senate spokesman. Interesting. JAMB releases 2021 UTME result. My husband was killed when he started making it. Wife of slain radio presenter speaking there. PIB communities Pandev tackle National Assembly on cloudy areas. AFCFTA, Pan-African Payment Settlement System underway. Southerners provoking North to spark crisis. Who has the major headline? Okay, yes. So the presidency's reaction.
Maybe he was before, I never knew. He was addressed as chief. He was addressing all the objections to the press council bill that is being passed now, and then the other one, two of these journalism laws that seem to be gagging the media. He said that these bills, our hands are clean now. It's not President Buhari that is proposing this bill, because people have been calling on the National Assembly to remove them, and that it's seeming that they are now attacking the presidency. So he's speaking on behalf of the presidency that their hands is not there inside. But he just ended it there. This bill, let me say, the legislation, according to this Vanguard report, it says the one before the House of Representatives was proposed by Honorable Shegun Odebumi, PDP's honorable member from Oyo State. He is the one who sponsored the bill before the House of Assembly. That's one of them. And the issue for people objecting to it is that there are several sections of this bill that seem to gag the press. And if this bill is proposed by the press, the bill is supposed to be for the people.
Yes.
And the people are objecting to it this much. I think we should go back to drafting if we must amend. And if we must, of course there should be regulations. Because now the PCF, that's the PCN, what other act is trying to bring the media under the Ministry of Information, under the Minister of Information. Of course, if we now have to be regulated by somebody who is an appointee of the executive and the member of FEC, there's a problem. There's, of course, a clash of interest. So those are the issues. But we can't just have you just come and say, no, we don't have hands in it. We need to have clear stands, sitting on the fence.
I agree.
It's very important.
Yeah, so the spokesman of the Senate,
You wanted to react to our story?
No.
Okay.
Another story. You take your story. I have another story.
Sarah Judin Ajibola yesterday has said that the National Assembly is not responsible for maintenance and renovation of the complex, as a result of the rainfall, and it was really raining inside that building. So he said they are not responsible for that, the responsibility lies on the Federal Capital Development Authority. They are the ones that are supposed to handle the renovations. And that initially, 37 billion was appropriated for that renovation, which was finally reduced to 9 billion. But so far, no cash has been given to the National Assembly to handle that. And this, display is more of a cry that it's time for people to understand that the National Assembly actually needs to be renovated, and we need to work towards it.
No, people are saying it shouldn't be renovated.
Yes.
It was the amount that was earmarked.
But they said 37 billion initially.
That was the challenge. But then again, saying that you are not responsible doesn't mean you can't have an oversight function of overseeing, rather, what is being done. Because you stay there.
They had gone to the president, according to the Senate president, initially when they noticed structure. He said when they took over the House, himself and the Speaker, it took time to look at the building and went to the president on certain areas that they felt needed to be upgraded. So, but my concern is, even according to them and us, which one be our priority? Because we have other major issues.
May they stay on that rain?
No, because every poor man will get bills to pay. You go prioritize picking school fees, other things for leaking. Some people they use
let's have a story.
The place the leak now.
No, I'm just saying, it seems insensitive, but that's so we need them to be really in touch with the realities.
What we are saying is the amount. Because when you say 37 billion, whether it's 37 billion, whether it's 9 billion, whichever one it is, how much be the building? There was one tweet today that said how much be the building.
The whole building.
Let's quickly have your story, case.
But anyway, I was going to take the one about the Oshogbo residents of Obelawo area of Oshogbo. The soldiers invaded the police station. Apparently, their colleague went to bail his friend who was arrested by the police. When that soldier got there, the police detained him too. So when police got soldier...
This is why people don't really give out information and do
go
things.
to the police to report anything.
The police or security agents.
When the soldiers go in, they have arrested their colleague. They went there. Oh yeah, bring out our colleague. Police started shooting. They said, what shoot? They brought out knife. Heavy show.
Can you imagine that? I wonder why Kate to learn this story.
The police,
I wanted you to learn so we understand why the second person was obviously detained.
So the police, the two policemen now ran away to go and get reinforcement, came back with guns.
And they were facing off.
They started to shoot each other.
Wow, wasting our bullets.
And soldiers.
The soldiers.
So when the police and soldiers are fighting each other, they all hope for us for...
I'm telling you.
But why this is a police case. They arrested one soldier, a Nigerian, in their official capacity. The normal process should be followed. Not that I will go there with military uniform and say, whether or not he was guilty of a crime, I beg, just give me. I'm a military man. But we see that happen all the time. A military man slapped a LASTMA official while he was on BRT in this Lagos, and the video was trending at one time. In their official capacity, let the system take its course and follow process. So you went there to bail your friend, follow process. If you have, go with a lawyer. So if you get there and they don't release him, you follow due process, you go to court to get his bail. Don't be saying you go reinforce cop. They start to use Nigerian weapon.
No, I just want to quickly take this picture story of the NYSC medical outreach, where we have a representative of the NYSC Director General, Mrs. Blessing Uruma, administering warm drugs on school children during the NYSC pre-medical outreach for rural dwellers in Barkin-Ladi local government area of Plateau State. The picture was taken yesterday. Now, this is an initiative by the NYSC DG, Brigadier General Ibrahim Shoaibu, says is dear to his heart. And according to him, the outreach is launched quarterly, and it began, I think, 2 days ago. That's what he said. And he announced that the scheme has covered 2 million rural dwellers, and that people in the community should take advantage of it, because he believes that this is something, looking at the fact that out-of-pocket, treatment and all of it, considering the economic situation of these people, they won't be able to do that. And a lot of people feel this is a commendable step by the NYSC DG and this medical outreach, really. So, you have a story?
No, I just wanted to cut this story about the police have said that it was hoodlums that attacked the station, not the soldiers.
So why did they hold the soldier?
Police have their own story now. Everybody has their own...
Let's quickly move to the Daily Sun now to clarify that. Okay. Now, the major headline on the Daily Sun is saying military colluding with bandits, alleges Gumi. Gumi saying that here. North won't ask for separate republic. Arewa Consultative Forum plans meeting with Afenifere Ohaneze South leaders. Attack on schools, NSCDC to set up female squad. 10 die after consuming herbal mixture in Kwara. Anambra, Guba, APGA, PDP crisis will give us victory, APC Patriots. And NDDC forensic audit report ready next month at Babio. Who has what story here?
Yeah, so the NSCDC, yeah, so as a result of the spate of killings that has been happening across schools and kidnappings, the NSCDC has ordered the setting up of female squad in all 36 commands and Federal Capital Territory to patrol schools. So they said they took out carried out data analysis of the 6 geopolitical zones, and they realized that we needed enough security in schools, and they're going to be partnering, I think, with the Ministry of Education to ensure that these squad are around to patrol schools, and they are going to be all female. And so the setting up is ongoing as we speak. I am just worried that there are no details as to how these females will be able to stop banditry or abductors when they come. Are they going to be equipped so that we don't end up, after losing children, we now start losing women who are probably married and supposed to be in their husbands' houses? So let them equip them. If they're going to set them up as females, let them make sure that they have everything they need to fight or ward off the abductors. Yeah.
All right. Is the herbal story in the Sun?
It's here. Yeah. It's on the daily. Yes, you can quickly.
This family of, there was this lady, she had a foot disease.
Yeah.
And then she was approached by one Okosi Musa and another guy, and they said, oh, they have the treatment for, and they gave her this herbal medicine, and that she should give her family members.
Ensure that she and her family members drink it
so that they are safe. And instead of being safe,
they all died.
They all died.
Started dying like chickens, one after the other.
One after the other. And the son, was Ibrahim Boni, went to the police to report that this is what happened. So they've arrested them, and they're advising everybody that if they give you herbal medicine, don't drink it.
Hey.
Just like that. If you're not sure of what they're giving you, please
go to the hospital.
That's why we talked about the out-of-pocket treatment being... a lot of people can't afford it. And that's why we also look at the health insurance scheme, ensuring that it gets to everybody, even at the
rural areas.
Yeah. So we'll quickly move now to the Nigerian Tribune. Major headline saying security agents colluding with bandits. Gumis is speaking there. Federal government, 36 states, others charged to court over financial autonomy for judiciary. Police inspector arrested for selling weapons to criminals in Cross River State. We still have that story of the family of 10 dying after drinking local herb mixture in Kwara State. Anambra Abga declares Soludo standard bearer. Insecurity Buhari Northern governors meet. ACF to meet Ohaneze Afenifere South leaders over state of the nation. Yeah,
Nima. I want to state the judiciary
story
taking
financial autonomy.
Yes, over financial autonomy. So they've sued the 36 states and federal government. They've sued the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission. They've sued added in that suit is the Federal Account Allocation Committee and the Attorney General of the Federation over, the judicial autonomy. And they're asking the court to clarify why the amendment of 1999 Constitution that provides for the autonomy of the judiciary is not being implemented by this state. If there's still any legal issue, and the court should declare it the law so that the states are compelled to then do no matter what. Because now it's already an act and the law that has been passed is now law that the judiciary should be autonomous. And the states and their funds and all of them, that should be paid directly to them from the office of the Accountant General. But we have issues going on and on and on and on. States, renegotiating. And they had a strike just recently. We don't want another strike
to happen.
But,
yes. So a police officer was arrested and paraded in Calabar, the Cross River State capital, for allegedly selling firearms to criminals in the state. And his name is Nathaniel. His surname has been withheld. But they said that what happens is he usually, sells arms to criminals, especially those criminals who are causing the mayhem in states like Imo. And by the time they arrested him, he confessed, though he said that he didn't know because they needed to get, I think about 2 AK-47 was missing. He couldn't account for it. And he said he didn't know that probably they used charm on him to take that he doesn't give criminals, he doesn't exchange. Yes. Oh, they mentioned
it was yesterday. It was in the papers yesterday. He was arrested. you get name.
So if the police is, involved in things like this, and we hear allegations that the army is involved, we need to do proper investigation.
Absolutely. And that's where we leave the conversation on our papers this morning. We'll take a break now. When we return, it will be time for us to have our discussions for the day. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
All right, thank you for staying with us. Now, Father's Day was celebrated last Sunday, and some of the major highlights of the day were some celebrities who are single mothers who came out to celebrate themselves, as Father's Day was last Sunday, all right. Some of the celebrities who are single mothers came out to celebrate themselves as fathers and asked that the world celebrated with them as they have single-handedly taken care of their children without their fathers. Now, the question is, can a woman truly be a father and a mother at the same time to a child? What are the effects of not having a father figure in the life of a child? Join the conversation and call us on 081-270-53687 or 091-390-76948. Ladies, I'm throwing the question at you guys now. The question is, can a woman truly be a father and a mother at the same time? Nima, you're smiling at me, so I'll begin with you.
This topic.
Yes, so YK.
No, I knew
YK got the ball.
That because she will cap it up.
Okay, so in fact, that's when the laugh just wanted to kill me. For some women, really we can't be petty. And some people just make it a gender issue when we become so petty. But we really need to stop this thing. We need to focus on the wholeness of children to grow. And I don't know how Africans lost it. In those days, we called our uncles, heads of families, fathers, because whether our father are dead or not, there were people who played that role till they die.
People who will play that role.
Just a minute. I just want to explain.
Just trying to ask.
So that we are opening eye now. All of us, we are becoming westernized now. And we're forgetting.
Is it a Western thing?
Wait now. Let me land my point.
No, you're landing, so I need to help you land well.
Wait, let me cut it well. You see, people no longer have the idea. They cannot even understand the idea of what a father figure is for a person. That ability to find someone who plays that role. Even in families now, when the father is no more, some people are scared of filling up that shoe. And it used to be the norm that it was filled. Somebody would stand. Yet we now had some bad eggs destroy that the whole idea of having a father in a child's life. No child was fatherless in African cultures in those days. No child was, even when your father dies as a baby, you will grow up, somebody will raise you. You will grow up, you will know, your mother would always consult someone on your matter. But we have lost that idea. I can't even see it. People don't relate easily with it anymore.
So when a woman finds herself in a situation...
Some women whose cases are genuine are those who are widows, who truly play the role. But we have the petty ones who are divorced for reason one thing or the other, but they cannot just stand the image of the person they get belly for. The time you were getting the belly, you did not think of how that person, whether the person was a fit person to be called your child's father.
Right.
So you now divorced. Now you cannot have sense. You have to be petty. You look at the person while your child is still a child. Some of them, their children are less than 5. You do picture. Some people will do beard. You see, time will tell this story. You don't know that child, what that child will finally become when that child is an adult. That child might just hate the entire... they say this story of 2 children born by a drunkard. One drinks, one doesn't. And the 2 of them say they look at their father. People have different perspectives to life. Nobody told you that your storyline is what your child will believe for the next first 30 years of their lives. They might have a different story that they choose to believe.
Eventually.
And it might be that for balance of judgment, your child knows better than you in future. calm down. This vengeance.
So I'm even going to tell you to calm down. Be calming down.
This year, I totally agree with Nima. Because I understand that children need to be in a healthy environment, a healthy, conducive, loving atmosphere. And it would be unfair to transfer the aggressions of the father or the mother on a child. Because what you're doing, you're seeing it from your own perspective. After all, he gave me bele, we quarreled, he left me, he abandoned me, I'm the one paying school fees, I'm the one paying that. And so that makes you the man. You're not an hermaphrodite. You have a role. You have been given a sex. Play your role as a mother. And in love, that child will grow to understand that this person was for me and this other person wasn't for me. It is not your place to put it in the head of the child that you see, oh, I'm the one that's doing everything for you. I'm the one that's raising you. Your father is a wicked man. It's not your job. Because you know what you do? You end up making the child feel like there's something wrong with the child. So you have said your own as an adult. You don't know how it affects that child psychologically. So I didn't have this experience. God forbid that I have it in Jesus' name. You know, we're all praying that we live long for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years with our spouses. Nobody sees the future. You know, but I was a product of this sort of relationship. And for every time I heard, do you know why? What happened? Do you know this? Do you know that? I had a form of resentment for the person who was raising me. Not for the person I hadn't met.
Right.
Because I felt, why? I was not there now. Why did you people have me? You don't know how that child is taking all of these things he's saying. The child will go to school. Exactly. The child will go to school and see other children and see how their parents come together. And then instead of you to raise that child in love, even when they ask a question, where is my daddy? You say, don't worry. You would understand. Let that child see genuine care and love. Forget about what the father has done. Do not put it in the face of the child. The child will grow. The child will meet him. The child will come into his or her own conclusions later. Don't make that conclusions for. So when we put the child, like Nima said initially, the focus should be on the child. How do I want to raise a healthy child? Why do I want to transfer the things that have happened? He was not there. She was not there. Why did I bring this child if I'm not ready? Because anything can happen. If anything happens today, why do I want to start telling your father was this? Why? You don't need to know.
It was your decision, not the child.
Why was it put it on the child?
So it was your decision.
What we're doing today, you know the way the world is. We think when you're upset, you just do it. Wyke always says something that some of the things she did when she was younger, she looks back now like, why me? I pray that we don't look back and say, why did I throw this part? We should just be careful.
Very, very important. Wyke?
Well, I will say it with two stories. First, my friend called me. She's a single mother on Sunday, and she was really upset about something that happened with another friend. She says her daughter woke up in the morning and went to her and said, Happy Father's Day. And she said to her, never in your life refer to me as your father. I am your mother, I am not your father. You have a father. Forget that the father was not in your life. I am your mother. That's one. Two, when I was going to get divorced, when my ex and I were going to get divorced, you know how you will be charging. And he said he's taking the child. You taking which child? So I went to who I was going to employ as my lawyer, a friend, who was, and I always thank him, I always thank him in my mind. I went to him. You know, because I'm very calm now. Then I was very...
We know.
I can't fight anybody. Don't forget that I don't have power. Physical. I was not... So I went. See, he wants to take my child. The guy looked at me. After I finished ranting for about 10 minutes, he said, a child is not a chattel.
A child is not...
It's not a chattel.
It's a human being with feelings.
Yes. That's what we forget.
So, the child is going to get to a situation where he or she will make
her decision.
And that decision might not involve you. So play your role. so that the child will always come back
to you. Perhaps a lot of them do not understand their role.
Yeah.
That is it.
And they do not know the difference between both roles. Well, we'll come back to this conversation because we need to quickly go on a break. When we return, the conversation continues. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thank you for staying with us. We're still talking about the Father's Day's controversy about can a woman play the role of a father and a mother at the same time. And before we went on the break, YK was telling us some stories, and she ended with a child is not a chattel. And we want to learn more from that.
You know, so he sat me down. I was in my 30s then, and he said, look, a child is not a chattel. The child has a mind of its own. So anything you do now is going to affect you and the child in future. So I advise you, go and meet your ex-husband or whatever he is to you. Go, and the two of you sort out the problem between yourselves. Do not involve that child. You know, because I went there charging.
What did that do for you?
I went there charging.
Yes.
Remember?
Yeah.
To fight. Yeah. And when he finished with me like this is how I sat on. Like the cold water on my body. Wow. And I thought of my child and what I would do to my child if we carry this to
animosity
fights. I drove from his house straight to my ex-husband's house. He used to come out ready. I said, come, I've come in peace.
Yeah, come with only brand.
Please.
No fights.
No fights. Please. This is what I spoke. This is what Ines said to me. That one said, by the time I finished what Ines said to me, go water, self, touch her. That was the day we stopped fighting.
Nonsense fight.
Nonsense fight. When we went to court, we took joint custody. He had a role to play in his daughter's life. I had a role to play in my daughter's life. And that was it.
Maturity.
Maturity come into play, actually.
I never said one word against my daughter's father to her. Because it's not my place. If I feel that she has offended me, let her discover it by herself. It is not me to go and be discovering for her. It is not. Anything that's going to happen between her and her father is her and her father. She will come to her own conclusions later. Because the bottom line is, how old is my daughter today? She's 33. I am 60. Excuse me. Can I control her?
No way.
She's an adult.
She's an
adult with 2 children of her own. So everybody, when you are fighting and you are doing, always remember,
calming down.
That child will grow. That child will leave that age that it is at 7, 8, 10. It will reach 21. He will reach 30 and will make. Don't do what will make that child remove you from you.
For life.
It's life for life. So when you are posting, remember, the child has a life of its own, and it will grow up, and it will make she or he will make his or her own decisions.
I'm happy we're having this sort of conversations, because sometimes I used to wonder, these people that act this way, especially in the public space, just put it out there. You did not do this. You are not there. You ran away, and all of that. Don't they have family members around them or friends that talk to them?
Do they want to listen? The issue is this, Bisi. It is if, like, for now we're having a conversation, right? And perhaps I came to meet you, or you see that I am approachable, and you come to me and say, this. Don't you think you should adjust, make some amendments? Now, how have these people positioned themselves for them to be approached?
That's why.
Now, we have forgotten the role of family. That is the reflection we are getting. Society no longer understands that as a woman, you can't play the role of a man. Everybody has
their role specifically
to play,
given by
to
God.
raise
It's
a
not
whole
about
child.
money.
It is not about the things you give in terms of
school
money.
Fees. It's not about money.
It's not about the things you give.
If you give your children something, give them as their mother. See, YK, this story you told me helped me in my practice. Because I have women just run to me. There was a young lady. The husband offended her validly. You can take your call.
Okay. We have, quickly, we have Mary on the line calling from Apapa. Mary, good morning. Welcome to the show. Go ahead with your contribution.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You see, I agree with most of the things you have said. I think that if it role play, of course, you have to rule that we could say this is the role of the father, this is the role of the mother. But when push comes to shove, anybody can take anybody's role. So when a mother begins to take the role that maybe she initially thought should have been for a man, because we cannot say we are not seeing that there are actually a lot of deadbeat fathers all around. And sometimes it's painful and very difficult for the woman to bear. The only thing I think we should be saying to both genders, I don't think it's about the woman or the man. It's just about, even if you are not the one living with the child, play your role. Let the child see your presence. Let the child be able to hear your voice once in a while. It is always when there's serious issues of bitterness that we see that, okay, the thing ended so badly, somebody is so bitter that you want this whole bitterness to be transferred to the product of such a relationship. We can't see the future, so sometimes these things happen. But we cannot also say it is not valid for a woman to be angry that somebody with whom I did stuff has totally abandoned me. But like you all rightly said, while you are at it, make sure that it does not affect the child. It is never and will never be the fault of that child. Thank you, and bless.
Thank you very much, Mary. Now, let's understand that this aspect.
Finish this explanation.
I know you finished, but I just wanted to clarify something. We are not saying that there are no absentee fathers.
There are plenty.
There are plenty. We haven't said that here. We're only trying to say the roles differ. The reaction differ. Go ahead.
So, just as she said, that was my client's case. The husband had done something wrong. He has apologized, and she has approached, and she's gotten a divorce. So they were discussing custody, and she was asking for full custody, never have access to my children ever again. I said, there are grounds for that. But those are the extremes. And they will go extra to prove to the court that the person is totally unfit. But in this case, between me and you, woman to woman, I am not saying this. If the worst case happens, allow these children supervised visitation to their dad. Even he know in place, he knew what he did was totally wrong. He has a lifestyle that, he knows is imposing on her. So he said, I just want to see them once in a while. You can send a nanny. She said, no, I just don't want you near the children. I said, and you can't be, I can't walk, I can't represent you. At that point, she thought it was super, I can't. Because I'm seeing what you are not seeing.
Absolutely.
You see, these deadbeat dads leave their children. No child is stupid.
They know. They pay attention.
They pay attention. Yes. They miss nothing.
Nothing, no.
They will watch the movie as you are playing series film. You do your own. The father is doing his own. They are just writing their own story.
Yeah.
At the end, we have children who came out that day to say to the Father's Day that I want to acknowledge my mother. My mother is a woman times 10.
We've seen ladies who even graduate.
Not because their mother
graduates and say they're giving their certificate to their mother. Their mothers.
Not because their mother sat down to write her story to the child.
No.
But because the child observed and reached that conclusion that mama, for the bitterness that you bottled, for the pain that you went through to make me a whole person, I acknowledge your role. Let it be your story. You see all this, I'm loud, I'm an influencer, I'm a somebody, and you're all coming out. Your child might be the one to Google your name tomorrow, and everything just had to drop like a paper.
Even if they don't Google, people will tell them.
That is where I was going.
Okay, let's quickly take this break. When we return, we'll go to where you are going.
We go with you.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thank you for staying with us. We're still looking at the Father's Day controversy, if a woman can play both roles of a father and a mother, and YK was to take us somewhere. YK.
I was just going to go to when they post all their things, all their lives on YouTube, all these Instagram.
On social media.
On social media. It does not get lost.
You never
the
forget.
day you will Google it like this, everything will come out. So all the nonsense that you have been doing, so always remember, because I said it when those two fought, Shay and, look, 10 years time, somebody will Google it, it will drop. So everything that you do, with the advent of social media, nothing is hidden.
Nothing is forgotten.
Nothing is hidden from, nothing is forgotten, thank you, from your child. So think of what you want your child to know. Think of how you want your child to grow up. Think of, do you want a child that is carefree?
Think of raising a whole child.
Exactly. A carefree, the child, all the child wants to think is my school, my mommy, if you're for the deadbeat, yes, there are some fathers that do not go and see their children or don't provide for their children. Your child will find that one out.
Posterity will judge.
Exactly.
At the end of the day.
Exactly. And I don't think it's right to stop a man from seeing his child.
Let's quickly take this call from Ruth. She's calling from Abuja. Ruth, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm actually a first-time caller.
Welcome.
Hey, welcome.
Yeah, today I had to keep trying until I get through to you people today. I didn't stop at all.
All right.
I want to talk about this topic you people are talking about. I'm actually a single mom. My daughter will be 20 by September. Actually, I had her when I was 17, 18. Yeah, 18 precisely. I just got to 18 when I gave birth to her. So she's been with me all through her life. Actually, I haven't stopped the father from reaching her. I've tried on my own part to see that he's involved, especially at this age he's becoming, because it's becoming a little bit difficult. But he's just not interested. So that is not the topic for today. But on Sunday, we're in church on Father's Day, and she's sitting right beside me. And when the fathers were giving the administration, she just turned back and looked at me and said, "You should be there." So that got me with mixed feelings, and I got very emotional, really. I told her that I'm not your father, I'm your mother. Circumstances puts me to where I have to do it all, really. But to be honest with you, I'm not even doing it well, because I know I need your father to be here to do his own part. But whereby he refuses to or doesn't want to show up for whatever reason he has, I have to play both parts. You know, actually, I was so emotional that I wrote about it on Facebook. But, you know, my intentions were not to get somebody to know that I am trying to prove to be a super single mom. No. I just wanted them to understand that those kids know. I've never had time to sit with my child and talk about what happened or how it happened. But she see me struggle. You know, she see me cry, she see me broke down, she see me trying to hide that I'm hurting and all that.
She knows.
So when she said that to me, it was everything, really. But I didn't want those words to come the way they came. I would have preferred that I had a father for her to also stand there where she be wishing Happy Father's Day to the person, really. But it's not like that. So some of these things, sometimes they happen. I agree with all of you what you are saying. I'm learning. So I just want to say thank you, really, because children see, they know, they understand. You don't need to go out there and tell them about how difficult it was or your bitterness. But as time goes on, they grow, they see things for themselves. But as much as possible, we should also try to guide them against hating the other person who is not in the picture, because the person may also have his story to tell too.
Absolutely.
We want our kids to grow up with love. So much of love in them, not bitterness of something that happened to you.
Thank you so much. I just want to say well done. Well done. You did a very good job.
Yeah.
Yes.
She did a very good job.
She raised a point that I would like for us to talk about, but when you're done.
Yeah, okay. So I wanted to say that I think with everything that's changing right now, I think we should, as parents, start paying attention to parenting classes, because I feel a lot of us are ignorant of the right things to do. So we're still living the way our parents lived. They made their mistakes. They had no knowledge. Now, knowledge is everywhere, so we should get it. Statistics have shown that the parenting styles of both sexes are different.
That's it.
The mother works more on sympathy. You are the one that will pay, you are the nurturer. You are the one that will pay attention to the child. They fall down, you tell them sorry and all of that. You have that, you fill up that emotional side of them. The father's job is different from that. You are the authority that the child patterns their character after. They are observing their father. The father is the one who would instill justice and fairness in the home. Now, I have seen there was a time sort of comparisons were done. And it showed that parents or children who grow up with their fathers have more confidence than those who don't. It doesn't mean they are less, but it's just there's this authority when a child sees the father. And, you know, sometimes even mothers will tell you that, I beg my child to do this, but immediately the father looked at the child. Ordinary eyes, you just go and do it. You know, so their role is very important. And like Nima mentioned at the beginning, that back in the days, even if your father is not present, maybe there were persons who could fill that role. There were, you know, male figures who could fill that role, because that role is actually very important, and it's healthy for a child to have a balance of the two. Now I understand that anything can happen where you don't get that. But do you have family members that could instill some of these roles?
What's your relationship with family members?
But if you are ignorant and you don't know that this is what your child needs, you just feel his money, food, and they're okay.
You're wrong.
So we need to get this sort of information so that we know the right steps to take.
We have Yakub on the line. Sorry, YK. We have Yakub on the line. Yakub, good morning. Go ahead with your contribution, please.
Thank you very much, Veronica. Good morning to you all in the studio.
Morning.
Good morning, Yakub.
Veronica, good morning, my sister. Good morning, ma. Veronica, please, I just want to say something before this topic, before I came back to this topic quickly. Because when you are reviewing the paper, you mentioned something. I think our institution is not working in this country. Why am I saying that? If Sheikh Ugumi can compare crime with a crime, I think I didn't mean that our institution is working. By now, Sheikh Ugumi is supposed to be picked up. You cannot tell me that bandits are just kidnapping children. Or he used the word of their dogs. And then forgetting that they killed policeman that's trying to repair them. And then this police that they killed is a father of someone. See, this country, they're supposed to pick up Sheikh Ugumi because he has a lot of things to answer. That is that. Coming to this topic, I think a lot of our celebrities are watching this program this morning. Me as a father, I really learned a lot of things this morning. And then I just want to say this, Veronica, you cannot blame some of them. You know why? Some of them, if they flash back and thinking what this father does, Veronica, it takes the grace of God to not let the children to know what that father did. Because we have some of the fathers that are so wicked to the extent that they have affair with their daughters. So, in that case, you see, some of the fathers are so wicked, but sincerely, I really learned a lot, and then I would like them to listen to Sister Yeni because of her experience. What she told us this morning has a long way to go. Good morning, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Yakub. Thank you so much for your contribution.
I was going to say
it says a lot.
That, you know, we complain about some fathers as being not available for their children.
Absentee fathers.
But there are some who genuinely just want to be in the lives of their children. And we're saying no for a mistake that happened. So maybe you were pregnant and the guy was like, at that point, no, that was not possible. And he had his own initial rejection period or denial period. And, you know, maybe you recovered faster, you took care of the responsibilities. And fast forward, maybe when the child is like 5 years, he comes back and says, okay, now can I be a part of my child's life? I'm really sorry about what happened. You say over my dead body. You say over my dead body 5 years after. You say over my dead body 10 years after. You no agree. Waiting. Which fire? Why you carry fire for head? You say no. And forever you never thought of the interest of that child. We had a celebrity whose child was saying, I don't want to, I know a new father. And you think it's normal.
Right. Let's quickly take this call from Mike. He's calling from the UK. Mike, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Veronica. Good morning to the ladies.
Good morning. Good morning.
Nima, this morning, you are for everybody and you are for nobody. Yeah, you see, you guys, you said it all, especially Nima. You see, I don't know if you guys have experienced something. You'll see some mothers that took care of the child, and when the child grew up, he leaves the mother and goes to the father, and the mother will just keep shouting, I look after you. Now you are older. You can't even look after me. You are going after your father. It's because the child took time and see that most of the time you keep bringing some things that he or she doesn't even supposed to hear. So it's just like, but when they go to this father, it doesn't, the first thing even ask after is like, how is your mom? But you never ask them one day to go and see their father. And even if you want to go and see their father, you say, it's never, it's over my head, it will get to a point, they will definitely take decision. And at the end of the day, you discover that you are the one that will do it quickly. Because you've suffered, you've taken the pain, you've denied yourself some good things of life, but at the end of the day, you are not even enjoying it. So just let it be the way Sister White said it. And at the end of the day, you benefit from it. Good morning and thank you all.
Thank you so much, Mike, for your contribution. We'll quickly go on a short break. When we return, we'll continue our conversation. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
All right, thank you for staying with us. We're still looking at the Father's Day controversy. If a parent can play both roles of a father and a mother at the same time. Before we went on the break, Nima, you were saying something.
I was talking about the women who, in their bitterness, deny access to their to the partners. So the child's father, maybe he's repented and is trying to have a life with his child. Allow him. If you have any fears about his personality, maybe you think he has some flaws, the child will see it. The child will be, usually when the child sees a flaw in their dad, they're shocked. Their first reaction is to come and ask you, like, so he be, does he shout? I saw him beat somebody. Does he have temper issues? So that you now be the one to address it. But rather than that, some women will be the one to first of all feel in and say, he's a deadbeat dad. Well, yeah, his anger issues. And you're telling the child the negatives of their dad. And some women still do it even in marriages. There's also the side of men who also think that holding on to a child and keeping the child away from their wives is a way to avenge, attempt to run away from a domestically violent situation. Because some people will say, Shebi, I just tap you small, did I beat you? Shebi, is one blow I gave you, did I kill you? You know what my mother went through? They beat her every single day of her life. She never left my father. Some people analyze and reanalyze and try to make sense of nonsense in their lives and hold on to children. If you go to family courts, you see some things that totally unnecessary. It's a foundation problem. You'd wish that they were YK and her ex-husband again. But people don't have sense. Most people don't. All right, let's get Kola's view to this issue. He's calling from Ayobo. Kola, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Please, I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome. Oh, Tola. Yes. Thank you, Tola.
I'm here to tell a little bit of my story. I'm a single mother. I had 2 children. I had my firstborn. Me and my husband, we used to live at Badagry. So all in the name, he doesn't want to marry me again. He left me alone with a month pregnancy. He went to his mother's place at Ilorin to marry someone else there. And I was here with my firstborn and the pregnancy. I didn't know anything. Later, he deceived me to go to his mother's place at Ilorin to give birth, not knowing that he brought that lady to the house at Badagry. So there was a day I went to fetch water. The pregnancy was even due at like 10 to 11 months. I carried the pregnancy. I was even telling the mother. The mother was telling me that she carried some of her children for a year. After I gave birth to the husband came to the naming at Ilorin. So there was a day I overheard the mother telling somebody, her sister, that after I give birth to my after my second born is a year, he's going to collect those children from me and send me away because I thought he doesn't want to marry me again. The problem now, later my family sent transport fare to me to come to Lagos. I ran away from my life there at Ilorin. Now I'm the only one training the children. So now, I don't know, to my own point of view, will I go back to that place again and take the children there? Because they haven't seen the children. The people we're talking about now is 4 years. So
I think they don't want to see the children.
Yes, when they are ready, they will come.
When they are ready. Yes, it's a situation of... I wish the mother was a mother. You know, the definitions, you know. So these people are not ready to see the children. Just raise your children in love. Never be vengeful. Don't be bitter. Raise your children in love. With time, they would choose their path, and they will know the full story.
Yeah, there's also a place of healing
Yes, that's where I'm going to, because we see a lot of these people are speaking out of anger, out of hurt. They haven't healed. And for you to raise a whole child, you can't be broken and raise a child that is whole. Yeah. Your child is going to be broken as well, because it is what you pour into that child. It is what the child becomes or grows with. We need to talk about the place of wholeness and healing. Yeah.
So I would advise that, so things would happen that we don't foresee. But the first advice I want to give is, while you're having that relationship with this person, there's an adage that says, no follow monkey play. No follow monkey, we get banana play. If you no go follow and play when the banana come out. So in your relations with somebody, is that person a sort of human being that I can relate with after everything is over? If the love disappears, if, for instance, the marriage is no longer working, the relationship is no longer working, can I sit on the same table with this person and have a conversation? If you put that at the back of our minds, it will help us, because sometimes before these deadbeat things happen, we see some of the red flags. We see a man who just appears, and for how many months he will disappear, and then he will appear again, and you say he has come to stay now, and then you go ahead. Now, when that is sorted and you're hurting, it's very important that you take time to heal. So even if the man is coming to say, I want to have this with my child, it's okay to say, can you give me a few months to sort out myself? I can't stand you right now. But I don't want
someone who he will listen to.
Yes, and I don't want us to affect this child. Can you give me a few months to walk through this? We still need to pay attention to getting help from outside. If you need to see a therapist, you need to see a professional. See, the money you used to spend to do other things, use it for your mental well-being. Because when you're whole, like you said, you can raise a whole child.
Let's quickly take Abimbola calling from Ikorodu. Good morning, Abimbola.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Abimbola. I'm calling from Ikorodu.
Welcome.
Good morning to all of you there.
Good morning.
I'm a single mom. I've been, let me just keep in a small story about myself, just very small. My husband, in quotes, left me and 4 boys 15 years ago. Wow. And when he was leaving, the last born now is 15. That boy was 7 months old.
Oh my God.
And the firstborn was 10 years old then. That firstborn right now is a graduate. He's 25 years old. When this man left me and these 4 boys, he never looked back. Wow. His family never looked back to ask, how are you guys faring? And today, to the glory of God, those 4 boys, they call me mommy and daddy. And they don't want to have anything to do with their dad. I tried so many times to kind of bring a relationship between them and their dad. My first son said, I should never try it again. Because he beat me a few times, and they never liked it. You understand? Yes. So you see, being a single mother is not something we all like. For peace to reign, because of these children, that's why some mothers, they stay off these men. But today, for God, only God knows where I would have been. So you see, anytime I see those boys, I'm always proud of myself. And I thank God because He stood by us. And those boys are doing very well, extremely well. The last one that he left me with, he doesn't know that boy, because the boy doesn't even know him. This boy knows only me as mommy and daddy. Thank you very much. You guys are doing a very good job. I love you.
Thank you, Abimbola.
She has a 10-year-old boy left. Of course, he suffered his own loss.
We need to tell ladies like this, well done.
Well done, yeah.
We always need to, because it's not easy.
At all.
It is not easy. My friend that I'm telling you about, that raised her daughter alone, and she raised her in England. Single mother. It wasn't easy for her.
At all.
The daughter, she now has a master's. You know? So she did a good job. But she never turned
against her
father.
Yeah. They will
the
come
girl
to that
has discovered that the father is deadbeat.
They will discover themselves.
But I like what Abimbola said, talking about she tried to ensure that there's a relationship.
Thank you.
with both of the father. But the children decided no.
They suffered their own loss.
So now these people, as a father or mother, should look at perhaps from the point of healing. First, you have healed or tried to heal. Try to see how you can connect these people together.
Okay,
you make your own attempt as the parent now.
Okay.
Let me, I won't be busy to address this.
Okay.
I don't want it to pass. So that boy suffered a loss at the time the father stepped out. He also needs some form of counseling so that, because what you ate sometimes might appear too often.
Yeah, it could happen.
Yes.
It could happen to you.
I'm just trying to establish the fact that there should be a point where you try to establish relationship.
Yes. Okay, so I think the child also needs to be paid attention to, in the sense that sometimes when you grow in that sort of environment, you start to feel that you were not wanted in the first place. The child starts to feel like, could it be that my mother or my father didn't like me? Why would they live like that? Why is only one person taking care of me? They start feeling rejected and dejected. So I had friends in the university who somehow too had the same experience, because me, I experienced it. I was born into this sort of thing. And we always sit and we talk about how we feel like one parent did not like us enough to stay. We were not strong enough to hold them together. And it took me, it's not me that it happened to. I was just in the crossfire. And it took me a process of healing for years to get over it. I was still healing even after I had married. It was still there. And sometimes, it will come out when I react easily and you're wondering, I thought we have discussed this now. I thought we have forgotten about this. It took me a process. So if my people had known, they would have said, okay, maybe BC needed to see a therapist that could have helped. Because there were a lot of things I saw that I wasn't given opportunity to express. So it was still there. So while we are still fighting ourselves, who will take custody, let us pay attention to these children. They need to be given time to heal as well.
Before we continue, YK, please, we have Musa on the line. He's been waiting to speak. Good morning, Musa.
We love that.
All right, please call us again. YK.
I was just going to say it's reciprocal. It happens, no, that's not the right word, but it happens with fathers. Some fathers take their kids from the mothers. Some mothers take the kids from the fathers. I have a cousin who the father took the daughter away from the mother. The mother had to come back to Nigeria because she had some issues. She was a depressed person. She had bipolar. Until today, the child is in her 20s. The mother still feels the loss of her child. And the father, I heard the father was in Nigeria once. He didn't even let the child see the mother.
Wow.
It's
traumatic.
Where he thinks that he has raised his daughter by himself.
A complete daughter.
A complete daughter. There is something missing in her life.
There's a vacuum. There's a vacuum.
Whether he likes it or not, there is that vacuum.
There's no vacuum in life, but once that place has to be filled. Else that child will be broken.
I had a very close friend of mine whose father was a deadbeat. He ran off. He didn't even acknowledge pregnancy. And one of the mistakes she used to make was already into love, trying to fill up that vacuum of, would somebody love me? And because of that, a lot of mistakes were made. For some people, they will even now marry whatever love this person they find and turn out to be, or you have that past replaying in their marriages because they don't know how to separate the issues. Every issue that now starts to bring such a reaction, they might even become single mothers themselves. So we need to, if you are a father somewhere, you're now bawling right now, saying because we are talking about the mothers doing Father's Day for themselves and saying, Shebi is women like her that are talking, you better go and check yourself. Because your child will at some point blame you. When they go into maturity, blame you, and they truly do blame you for where they are. So please, let's be parents mature enough and do this thing.
Let's take this call from Anita. She's calling from Jos. Anita, good morning. Anita, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning. Thank you. It's quite an interesting show, interesting topic. Based on what I've seen so far, I think, and heard so far, most of these single moms actually are not at fault, because the society is meant to think sometimes that because she's a single mom, her fault. But from the stories of the scholars we heard this morning, it just shows that things happen, life happens, and based on the environment I've lived in and I've seen so many things, I realized that some of the children that grew up with their moms actually turned out better than some that actually grew up with their dads. I'm not saying it's the norm, but in some cases I've seen some girls who grew up with their fathers turned out really, I don't know. So I'm not saying it's a wrong stuff that happens, but these women are actually fine and they are doing well.
All right. Thank you, Anita.
There's a tube here that I want to just...
I was going to say, can we take tubes now?
Yes, there's this tube and I want us to address it. It says, it's from Olorunfemi Yanoluwa Oluwa. Nice topic, but I thought today men will be celebrated as a few days ago was Father's Day. And Andrew, in StarTimes, it's a very emotional topic, and what they say in the military, a minefield, very toxic. Good Bit says, if a woman gets abused in a relationship, then the father deserves nothing. Can't stand men that do that. Oladidi, single fathers were, where are thou? We need your contribution here. And because it's as if we are bashing men, which we are not. We're actually bashing the women.
It's both ways. We are looking at it
both ways. We're actually saying, don't keep your child away from the father.
Life.
Let the man be involved in his child's life. And if you have children, be involved in their lives.
Let me say this tweet. Bilkis says, we've got many people walking wounded with mistakes of the past carried into their present lives, some childhood traumas. She also says, okay, we don't seem to appreciate emotional trauma and how it can follow one for the rest of the victim's life if they don't heal. So I wanted to quickly hit this.
Before you hit it, let's quickly take Sani, because I don't want him to go off the line. Sani, calling from Ikeja, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. You all are doing a great job. I want to say God bless you for the inspiration God has always given to you all and your view. I'm a great fan. And I appreciate Sister Nima. She has said a lot. In fact, it's not easy. Life turns out to be a story that most of us, we don't see the other part of the story. And we try to throw stone and judge. But when it comes to this celebrating a mother as a father, it's totally wrong. There is nothing to justify you as a father when you are a mother. Let us try and get that point. As a woman, you are a woman, not a man. And Sayani has said, you don't play your life in the life child. Let the child decide. We children are married, and I don't want for my husband to go, whatever reason. But let's try to make things happen and everybody live happily. Because I am the best of my father. I love my father more than my mother. I tell my father to be the mother of me, and when he's the father. You know, let's not try and paint ourselves that we women, we are the gods. The man too, without them, we are nothing. Let's not try and see that we women, we have maybe those working class, you have money, you can pay for your children, and then the father should go to hell. I love my father more than my mother, but both of them had their best role to play.
Stop picking sides. Yes, so I wanted to please
quickly finish what you were trying to say.
So, you know, we have this tendency to feel that once somebody has graduated from school, the person has a job, the person has a family, the person is okay. The person is doing okay. And we ignore the emotional traumas. A lot of people are walking around with baggages that they have carried from childhood, traumas that they have carried. You don't know what people suffer in the dark. Some people cannot even stand the dark. And this affects their relationships. it may not be in the public space. So you see this person very successful, doing amazing, but you don't know what they are battling with. They call it, is it generational demons or whatever, that they are battling with. And when till somebody comes out to tell you, this is what I am going through, this is what I'm battling, you would not know that some of these things stem from childhood and how their parents' relationships have affected their life. So let us pay attention to those. Don't feel, once I raise them, maybe they are doing okay, they are fine. Are you sure they are really fine? Or they will find their feet anyhow.
There's another case that I received earlier in my practice, and this is about the other wife. So this, my client's mother, according to her mother, was raped. But this was a time when families could say, my child is doing sleepover at your house, your child is doing sleepover at my house, and that happened. So she never could tell the story because she was afraid of what both families would do. When she turned out pregnant, who has the baby, she just muted. So she had a child. And this child, after a while, kept asking, where's my dad? And she couldn't tell her story. So one day, a woman suddenly visited the house who happened to be the father's relative. And the woman was like, that's this child. It's my brother's child. So the poor young girl, at the time, she was already past teenage age. She took interest in that conversation both adults were having, and wanted to know who that other woman was. And so she found out who her father was.
Okay.
But
before you
herself,
continue, let's quickly take Tunde from Ibadan. Are you there?
Hello.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm there. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome.
I'm one of your fans. Nima, I really like your contribution this morning. I'm very fan. You really touched our values. You really touched our values. I really like your contribution too. You are very frank. You told us the real thing. In the first place, when I was growing up, I saw my mother go through so many things. But she stood with my father because of us. So, and that is what is informing my own relationship now. My firstborn is 32 years old. My secondborn is about 29. It is not that my wife is a perfect woman. And you cannot really find a perfect woman. She has done so many things that would have gotten us separated. But I stood by the value that none of my children will marry out of a broken home. That both parents, both of us will stand by them until they stand on their own. And no matter what comes, we have made up our mind that even if it's because of them, we will not be separated, no matter what comes. That is part of our values. Where is our values today? That is one serious thing that is missing in our society. When you see women of 33, 34, getting separated with their husband, you see men just waking up one day and saying that I don't like this man anymore, I don't love this man anymore, I'm not marrying this woman anymore. It is out of our values totally. No matter what comes, dialogue is very, very important. So,
thank you. Thank you,
Tunde.
Please, also, those people, quickly, please, those people who now happen to come from broken homes, not as a result of their own making. So what happens to them? They should not have husbands. I think we should allow our children fall in love, how they want to fall in love. But once you have instilled the virtues that you want on them, they will find their way.
My daughter was from a broken home.
Oh, is she not married today?
She's married, and her and her husband have this. Because the husband is not from a broken home. They don't want to divorce. They rather talk about it. They rather communicate. So what you do is tell your children, look, don't follow my own footsteps. So, follow your own, because they are the ones that they are from good homes, not unbroken homes, where they divorce after.
Yes, of course.
So let me finish this story. So she followed that woman, found out her father's people, and that woman was able to arrange, then the grandmother was alive, for them to meet. So the grandmother accepted that child and said, no, this child looks very much like us, is my child. But the father had become politically influenced. He became a very powerful person from my place and decided he cannot have something to do with the child because the wife at home says, I am the wedded wife. And my children cannot have a step sibling.
Or half.
You don't love that man. If you love him, you would love for your children for his children what you love for him. You would accept you prefer that child who is lost, wandering up and down the world.
It will take a while for her to come to the place of acceptance.
She never did. I'm talking of a 40-year-old issue. She never did. The child cannot approach her father by a mile. He won't even allow because he has promised the wife at home that nothing. If I were you, I will go and accept that child. I will find that child out. The father must see that child. Because you see this property thing we are dragging, these wills, this I don't want any issue in court, all this property thing we are dragging. When you have lied down finished, clear.
Anyway, we have Elizabeth calling from Enugu. Elizabeth, good morning. Go ahead with your contribution.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
My name is Elizabeth. I'm calling from Enugu. I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome.
Okay, so just like BC said, I'm trying to portray her point where she says that a lot of times the signs are there, but women ignore the signs, or maybe you just feel like, oh, now get better as time goes on. A lot of women go into relationships for the wrong reason. You get involved with someone you know that this guy is not even somebody that has sense or maybe can, do some, you just know that this person is not even, but then in your mind you're like, okay, I love him, or maybe he changed or something. And then, at the end of the day, this guy fucks up. And then you're now, okay, maybe at the end of the day you have a child, and then you're now using this child now to now maybe get back at him. Meanwhile, you are responsible. You are responsible for the choices that you made. So a lot of times, I'm not trying to say some men or whatever, but some women need to do better in their decisions and the kind of choice that is made.
All right. Thank you, Elizabeth, for your contribution. Being responsible for your decisions, that's what she's trying to talk about. But let's also look at the role of the family. Because you mentioned earlier that someone should be able to stand in.
Yes.
Yeah. And then we also saw the story of the lady who had to go to the husband's mother's place and what transpired.
Yes.
We need to understand that the role that families play when things like this happen. Is it that we are trying to shove responsibilities? Okay, is her problem? Is
we want
the
title without responsibility.
So we shouldn't be part of whatever is going on. Have we forgotten that we are still a family and there are branches? We keep extending the families. Please, let's talk about this YK.
Well, I think families should be very responsible.
Right.
Because someone is tubing here and saying a lot of times it's the mother-in-laws, the mothers-in-law, sorry. And it's unfair if you fan the embers of hatred and discord. You need to always be neutral and give good advice. Yes. Look, me, as old as I am now, I can't give bad advice. I refuse. Even if I'm feeling...
You refuse to give bad advice.
I refuse to give bad advice. Because...
Even though it's one-sided most times.
Yes.
I give advice.
I just to be responsible. Because whatever you say will affect these people's lives. Will affect these children's lives. My brother is a single father of 10 children. 4 are adopted and 6 are biologically his. Even I'm advising him, I cannot give him in fact, there is one deadbeat, one of them has a deadbeat mom, and when I see her, I call her, I say, please, go and see your children, please. I beg her. Because I think...
tomorrow.
Because it will not be in future that you will now start looking for your children and they will say, no, I don't want to see you. You are not there for me.
True.
Try. Go and... So, if you are a family member, like I am, please, advise good advice. Don't advise... don't mind her. She's a prostitute. Stop it, even if you feel that way. Check your mouth. Zip it. Think and then give good advice.
Yes. Our families too should also...
it's the families I'm talking about.
Yes, now they should try to say the truth in all situations.
Very important.
So what happens now is because some people have made money, because of the things you want to benefit, they will be doing the wrong things. You cannot stand to tell them, this thing you are doing will not take you far. You keep it so that you can still continue benefiting. A mother, I used to say it, a mother is the one that brings the home together, that pulls. The mother is the glue. If your children have issues, you are the one that will pull them together, that you must settle this, you must have this conversation, you must talk to this. If they have issues in their home, as long as you are alive, the only job you have left is to be praying for them, that everything will go well for them. Right. So if, as a mother in a home, things are happening with your child's marriage, with your son's children outside and all of that, and you cannot open your mouth and say, Emeka, this is wrong, I will not stand for this, then you have failed as a mother. I think we need to start paying attention to our responsibilities. We still want the family system. Now, the world has changed. People are moving away from the family construct gradually. It's creeping in. We're watching movies, we're watching Netflix, we're seeing, you can do without our parents, you can do without our husbands, you can do without our wives. Where does that lead us as a society? We need to start paying attention to that. So if you are in a home system and a family member is misbehaving, see, even if they don't give you food, go and work for your food. Open your mouth and say the truth.
Now, just to add to what you said, what kept Africa together as a whole was the family system. There was always like they have in the North where different sections of the family live together in one compound. Do you understand? This family system, and that has paid us in Africa. We should try
don't destroy and finish. Even those days growing up, the grandmother, when you have all your grandchildren visiting,
they eat in one place.
They will put there's this big tray.
Yes,
and I've said to my two children, and the two of you are always fighting over small toys. Everything now be one thing, they'll start eating together. I started it on Saturday.
We eat in my house together.
I will put their food together. Anything that everyone that want to fall should fall, they should eat together. Because I ate with my sisters growing up. I love my sisters. We fight like, if we start to fight outside and you see us, you think that we're born of separate fathers. The moment we are leaving each other, if you say our reconciliations, you want to have children of the same sex
on the floor. Make it a habit.
The love is beyond where we are now. I can't even explain it. Sometimes I look at myself, I don't even want to be your sister again. But once I get to my house, I'm sorry. Because I can't understand it. And I wish that mother, and I mean the matriarchs now, they understand when they should be looking 10 years, because they say the adult does not have to climb tree to see future. So please, in your city position, when you have your daughters-in-law, have animosity, you have your sons, can't stand each other's wives, you have these issues starting small. Don't look at the one and say, no, how much did you even spend for me, sir? Since I have known you, what did you even buy for me?
There's something my father-in-law does. Because they are 4 boys. Every December they talk. Oh yeah, you have issues. Oh yeah, say it. Let everybody say it. Let's talk about it. Let's iron it out. You want to have a heated argument? Oh yeah, let us have it now, but we must thrash it out. You cannot leave this place with animosity. And sure, because when the time is right, we need each other to survive.
We do.
But we forget that aspect.
We do.
He will grow old. What happens? Is this how you guys will keep fighting each other?
The one that is worse is that you have a brother disease, and you look at his children, and you can't even relate because of something that you refuse to let go. When your brother was alive, you'll be looking at the children from a distance. You can't move. You can't take steps.
Like my brother's children, all of them, even though they're different mothers, you would think that they're all the same mother.
I don't know the difference. It's except you're saying it now. Tomorrow, I don't know.
Because the way he has brought them together, it is so important.
Very.
You know, that family unit, we shouldn't lose it in Africa.
We shouldn't. We'll have to leave it here.
I know. When you did your eye like this, I know you're starting
to shout for you. We didn't take all our tunes.
Veronica, let's go.
Can we take one Facebook message, please?
Because I'm being told we need to just wrap it up now. Quickly, how fast can you do that?
Sarumi says, my dad left my mom when I was 6, and I'm in my 40s, and he went to marry another woman. He was born 4 other children. He never looked back. and my mom had 5 children. Over the years, my mom and our family told us to go back to him and beg him. My mom never for once told us anything negative about my dad, but today, the man never thought he did anything wrong. Other children is sent to private schools and went abroad and has not looked back and have completely abandoned. I went abroad and have completely abandoned him as well. I think that's
good bits. World is changing. I remember that victory of rice we all used to eat in dirty hands.
The summary of everything is the fact that we shouldn't allow or destroy the family values and structure that we have. We need each other whether we like it or not. Let's build our families. That's what we are saying, and this is how we wrap it up today. Thank you so much, YK, for your words of wisdom. Nima, BC, it was a healthy conversation,
and you too.
I must say.
And thank you for moderating.
Veronica is in the building. We don't put this game in trouble. We'll go back to new stuff.
Thank you. Bye.